Hi and welcome to the Aaron Roussos podcast. Today, oh my God, it seems like that I'm living on another planet. I'm in another world or something's going on. Look, different subject altogether. Longevity, okay? There's a lot of people out there in the longevity game. I've got a page on my website called the 300 Code. And it's about consciousness can extend life and explaining again the only way to live hundreds of years. It's the only possible way because you know how I healed incurable diseases, nearly every single one of them? And I'm the only one to do that? Well, everything that you're doing, whether it's, there's a couple of guys that are out there spending millions of dollars on longevity, they haven't got it right. They're actually putting more stress and wear and tear on their bodies. They haven't worked out the system. There's companies now, there is huge companies dumping billions of dollars into the space, and I've already got the answer, and I'm just sitting here and they're just so way off, and all this money, right, that I can see, you know, when you're in higher consciousness where I'm sitting right now, you can look at all this activity going on in the world and I can see trillions and trillions of dollars being poured down the drain and being like there's no possible benefit, even a side benefit or anything. They are just so wrong in what they're doing, where they're spending money, and how they're trying to make a round peg fit into a square hole. And obviously then they're not just going, it doesn't work. What they're doing is they're getting something like a hammer 10 times the size and squashing it in. And that's a little bit like why there's still unanswered questions, okay? Anywhere where you're not naturally aligned with the system, the human being that everything revolves around, basically, you are only going to have a limited or part of the answer because you don't accept the full holistic package. It's a fact. In the education system, medical system, science, everything all the boxes that you're born into, that you're educated into, they are all boxes. That's all you get inside that box, okay? All the answers that I'm finding are not in the box, but you're only allowed to play in the box, right? So therefore, anything that's stuck in a box, unfairly, negatively, not the best outcome for human beings, anything inside a box, right, you're never going to find the answer inside that box. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm talking about? The 300 code, right? Consciousness, ancestors' diet, connecting to spirit and other metaphysical, spiritual practices that slow down the aging process. The aging process is actually governed by something, and it's in our DNA. And it's just, all you'd have to do, what did I put here? Instruction sets. Yeah, you got food as medicine, talking to your cells, all that sort of stuff, but a really good set of instruction sets. If you know the system, you know what governs it, you know how it all works. Hey, totally understand that you're trying to speed up the spiritual advancement, but I don't need to die as fast now to capture everything spiritually. It would make more sense in a higher consciousness. Now we've evolved to a certain level as a collective of human beings here on earth with souls, and surely that whole 15 years of growing up, to go through all that again before you can even start talking about spiritual advancement is a big investment. So surely it makes spiritual sense not to have to go through that now that we're at a higher level. And so if you tell those instruction sets to that governor, I won't say what it is because it's pretty cool, right? Now, DNA has been evolving and reincarnating millions and millions of times. So that's what you're up against. If you want to change the aging process, right, you're up against a system that's been thriving and going the same way, almost like perpetual motion, automatically for millions and millions and millions of years. That's what you're up against. So you have to stop that before you can live longer. Does that make sense? Because to me it makes fucking crystal clear sense. But every fucking longevity fucking expert out there, right, thinks they fucking know what they're doing, and they know jack shit. We're talking very small percentiles. Less than 5% of the overall what the fuck is going on. So not only do you give the instruction sets, you can correct codes, you can communicate the systems internally and instruct them, because you are the boss. You know, all that stuff that we love, we don't understand. The spiritual, people say, oh, you've got gods, you've got all this, you got that. You're the fucking boss of the lot. But because you've been on here on Earth having this fucked up life that got high, like all your sovereignty and all your rights and everything got fucking hijacked over 100 years ago. So now you're here, you're completely conditioned, you have no idea who you are. You don't even know what you want, so you go, oh, fuck it, I'll just follow that guy. I want to be an influencer. I want to fucking make money. I want to do this. And so we just find these huge, big waves of shit following other shit, thinking that is, an expression of life. When you know what life is, and then you experience it, I'm talking it's about 100-fold of what anything you've experienced. Yeah? So you are missing out, right? You don't know how to get out of it because there's only very limited people. And there's only one of me that can do this. And you, anything that you do in life to get back to some form of core truth or reality, you're going to have to drop something. Now that alone tells me that we've been taken advantage of for quite some time. If we have to, like if I've had to, to get these new discoveries and truths and all this sort of stuff, to do that as part of the process, the first thing I've had to do is realize that we didn't have all the right or the best information a long time ago, and so we've just got the best we had at the time, or what we thought we had was the best, and it's not great, right? But things get better, yeah. Things evolve, we learn, families break tradition. That's what it's all about. We've been, so basically, if you want to do anything with a human, whether it be longevity, whether it be heal every incurable disease, whether connect to the universe, whether do anything that you want, you need to know what you're dealing with. Yeah? You're not dealing with something external. You're dealing with something that you yourself, it all affects and is connected to you. So it doesn't matter what it is, it's not going to be able to be done. Or you're never going to have the full picture, like you don't at the moment, right? The world doesn't have the full picture because it doesn't understand who we are. Right? And then you've got this huge collective movement. Like, I'll give you an example. I sent the government, the Prime Minister of Australia, information. Now, this is holistic information, right? Full spectrum healing. So it's nothing that he's ever seen before. And I did it on purpose to see Thingo. And I said to him quite clearly, this is a little bit bigger, if you think about it, if it's true, and it's a little bit bigger than even you and me, and it's more of what's best for humanity. And it's something that you shouldn't really be palming off. We should be looking into it for what it is. And in the past, I've had different correspondences with the Prime Minister's office, and they're quite quick. And this one took longer. I know there was he was away and did a few things, and the correspondence took a little bit longer, and then it came back, and it still then deferred it to the health department, to the health minister, and that. So bang, not understood. Goes to the health minister, not understood. Now, what usually happens if I'm not taken as an absolute complete joke, which has happened a lot of times, right? Because I'm in higher consciousness, no one can see what I'm doing or understand what I'm doing. So it's just easy to go, oh mate, you're an idiot. It's like when we don't like what someone else is doing or don't understand, and we go, oh, that's it, fucking, I don't want to know, because we're fucking rude, selfish pigs. But anyway, so we've got this, governments all around the world, but they only deal with the physical, right? A little bit of mental, but there's no body, mind and spirit when it comes to the Prime Minister of your country or the President of your country and stuff like that. There's awareness and knowledge of it and whatever, but it's not a driving factor because we don't know about it. We don't know how it works. So then it goes to the health minister, and they send me a letter going, oh, well, we have primary health networks and doctors and physiotherapy and all different, multidisciplinary teams which write and do different programs for mental health and suicide prevention, which my mental health thing that I sent in, it was basically I've sent the government the complete cure for all anxiety disorders, plus a whole lot more, but this particular protocol. So the Prime Minister Elbows passed it on to Mark, the health minister. He's given it to a couple of doctors, and they've come back and gone, oh, go and work with. So I've given them something that would cure in 14 days 300 million people all around the world, but they've given it to some doctors who didn't understand it, right? And then they've sent me a letter saying, go to your primary health network and see if you can write up a little program with them to put next to Headspace, which is a listening app or thing for calming the mind or, relaxing people with anxiety or mental health conditions. So they have completely not understood that this is the biggest thing that was ever put in front of them in the history of mankind. They still don't get it. And these are the people that are running the country. Like, for fuck's sake. They've got all the fucking advisors and all the shit. So my question to you is, are they playing dumb because they know that if this is true, or they acknowledge it and they go through, it'll be the biggest disruption, interruption, the biggest eruption to happen as far as any discovery in the history of mankind? That's pretty fucking big. It's gonna that'll fucking send the whole place, every fucking doctor that's been working on shit their whole lives, some dude on the fucking dole has just come in and fucking schooled him, mate, and just gone, fucking bang, bro. Here's all the fucking shit you've been working on for 30 years. Here's the answer to this. Here's the answer to that. Pretty much I've got the answer to every professor's fucking most anguished fucking questions that they want to know about the universe. I've got them all. I've got every single one of them explainable in plain fucking black and white English, and totally all there with all the science and all the physics and everything that they want wrapped up in it. You know, the whole world has just been such a big, dark and negative and dense place wherever you are all around the world, because that's the consciousness. We didn't know any better. But guess what? We do now. COVID put the brakes on, and it started to awaken the species. The collective is still asleep. And when we're talking about sleep, we're just talking about knowing the level of truth, core truth, right? So people that I'm calling asleep have been indoctrinated, believed every spoonful of fucking news and current affairs that they believe what they see, okay? These people, look, skepticism's great. It's healthy, you know. I'm the most skeptical person, but also I've seen the most amazing things. I have seen things that you wouldn't even believe. I've seen things that would make you faint. I've been given signs from the universe which I can't even talk about because it just makes me sound crazy. I've had love washes after I healed myself. I had the first one, and then I've had a few, and where just this whole wave of energy, love, just comes over like a wave over your whole body. And you are so emotional and happy and it's like, when you feel, and I guess it's like love, right? There's different types of love. You love this guy, and then you meet this person, and then there's that energetic sort of connection, a soulmate, a higher expression, higher. Well, I've met someone who I've never, ever. It's like the most amazing connection. Everything is 150%. When that person looks at me, I've never felt so seen. I've never spoken to someone and been so listened to. It's like a special connection of higher exemplary energy and connection, and a beautiful feeling. So if love's good and the feeling's good, it's like really good. You imagine we do crazy things when we're in love. Trust me, I know. And when you're in love with someone and you get that amazing feeling, well, times that by 100. It keeps going. keeps going, and all of you are out there in your dysfunctional relationships, doing relationships really bad. You've only got other relationships to look at, and the whole space is fucking really disgusting. Domestic violence is fucking at all-time epic highs. You know, we've all got communities, and there's women dropping and being killed by their partners left, right and centre. And next door there was about fucking 400 blokes living in the building next door. There's something wrong with the world. Sleepy people. But it's, how would I say it? Change is traumatic for people, and comfort is so... We grab onto comfort. We grab onto jobs and titles, and everyone, you know, most people in society, most of their identity comes from their job, from their title, from what they do. And if you took that away, they would be absolutely not very useful or nice or people to have in the community, because they'd just be fucking not really good for anything. You know, a good friend is someone who is there, who supports, who spends time, who offers support, who, you know, it's a two-way street. But you have no idea what's coming. I do, because I'm the forerunner. You get that, right? You know, Earth is like school. I'm like the year 12 guy that stayed down 4 years, right? And you guys are all like year 7. You just got here, you're all bush-eyed, what do you call it? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed or whatever. And so it's always the way like that on Earth, right? We've always got people with lots of Earth experience, and then we've got newbies coming here. There's a term, or, you know, you might have heard the term or saying, what's it called? The old soul. They're the ones that have incarnated here more, have more experience here on the planet. So I'm like, got all the goss, got all the info to make it life. Fantastic. And it's always been that way on Earth. Someone comes first. We've got to go through a bit of a stage. There's the early adopters, then the first, you know, batch, or then we cross the chasm, then we flip over, and then bang, it's flooded. Right now, I'm looking for early adopters. There's people starting to awaken, starting to heal. It's a slow awakening. I can feel it all over the Earth, and, you know, very well spread out. My network's global. But, you know, the next 16.5% is where we gather back some ground. But what's on the other side of that is basically the rest. That's when it sort of gets flooded to humanity. So could you imagine one day in the next few years, you're sitting there and all of a sudden hundreds of thousands of people just start coming out of the woodwork going, oh my God, I did this fucking healing protocol for 14 days and it healed my autoimmune disease, my spasmodic dysphonia, my cystic fibrosis, my cancer, my this, my that, my that. It's going to be an epidemic of healing. It will turn the world on its head, and all of the benefits, right? This is the other thing. I'm trying to wake humanity up, right? So I've put myself out for 7 years selflessly, and been totally ridiculed by you because I know better that you need this. Otherwise, we could actually fucking kill ourselves. Cancer's growing at epidemic rates because that has to. It's a business. Business grows. All companies, that's what they do. And so you're going to have to, awaken So you imagine the world wakes up. All of the money that was misappropriated will eventually make its way back to the people because it came from the people. When you got sick, it cost you a lot of money. All of that money, right, is going back to you. It's not going to go to anyone else. The people. So not only am I completely ridiculed for 7 years trying to help you and trying to show you a healing protocol that is natural, risk-free, and really easy, that heals almost everything. It's the greatest discovery of him. So I'm just pushing through. Yeah, every now and then I give up because I'm disheartened. You imagine getting up every day and getting fucking beaten up. That's what it's like. And I've got to keep doing it, and not many people understand. It's, you've got to remember, I've been doing all this shit, studying a lot, intensely, without having to go to work, without having to have a life, a mortgage, and all the bullshit. So for anyone to understand my 30 years of investing, say 2 full-time jobs a week into this, the only thing that's good is it's natural, it's easy, and it's science. It's all based on the science, on their science. So that's what I've tried to do. You know what I mean? And so the whole world just becomes more abundant, more wealthier. And then once you wake up to that, you see everything else. And all these negative things that were taking your energy, your time, and your money will start to crumble. The foundations will break. You'll find out what was temporary and what's permanent. The medical industry that we have today is not the best for the globally for the outcome of the health and well-being for human beings. It's was set up in a box to feed a business, and so therefore, what was taken away from us was the medical industry's today's, but it's someone else's tomorrow, and that someone else tomorrow can be us. We can take it back ourselves just by learning about these natural protocols. This just about our system, about how it works, just about learning more about us. That's it. So we can take the system back. We can merge natural and food back into medicine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with medicine. It's that it's just not the whole picture. So all we do is we merge back in the food, which is the most important part of it. It's funny how food is the biggest component of every healing protocol that heals every incurable disease. But over 100 years ago, when they were making up their medical industry, the Rockefellers took nutrition and dietitian and food and all that and separated it. They took it out of medicine. They took pretty much everything natural as well. So that needs to go back in to paint the picture, to fill the picture, to give humans the best possible chance at health, not a limited chance at health, but a full chance to make money for the medical industry and to feed the system. That's why it was temporary. That's why it was never going to last the test of time. Now, with physics, with the laws of the universe, anything like that is negatively taken should never be permanent, right? But over the history of the Earth, it's only been a couple of thousand years so far, but when that's been done, it depends on how much money, because money can keep you there longer, okay? Big money, and that's what's happened, okay? But there's cracks starting to form, and there's all sorts of things starting to happen as we speak, and you can't see it from where you're sitting, but, sitting back for me, looking at the landscape and go, wow, I can't believe they released CBD and THC, marijuana, globally, all around the world. Now, THC, haven't got much time for THC as an oil compound in coconut oil for different cancers and tumours and things. That's the only benefit I've found for it. I've found no benefit whatsoever in smoking it, whether it be for medicine or recreation. No benefit whatsoever. In fact, it's on the top 10 list for causes of my own anxiety disorder back in the day. Chemicals, right? Addictions, fucking big use, little use, whatever, binge drinking. Any of those things are going to affect the chemicals and send them haywire in a huge combination. So basically, we have, we've got this. We've just got to go through these next few years. It's all connected. It's part of a shift. It's part of a bigger picture. And, that's all I'll say. So you can imagine, when it's all happening, you get a better life. You get more abundance. You get healthy. Basically, you're in control, right? You get more control. At the moment, life seems a bit out of control. You might get sick and you've got to go and talk to someone who goes to run a test on your body to tell you there's something not right inside it. And so many years of doing that system here on Earth has made us forget that we have our own internal self-diagnosis and healing. Right? I've proved that. Get the body the right states, in higher states, right? Give it the exact beautiful thing that it wants. It heals anxiety disorders and cancers, and I'm sure fucking a whole lot of other things, but I just haven't got to them yet. That's how fucking big this is. This is the biggest thing that's ever gonna fucking hit the world. It's gonna rock the world, and it's gonna be balancing. Okay? The equilibrium, the balance on Earth has been out. It's been quite negative heavy for so long, and it was getting to a point where it had to go the other way. And it has, and we're here, and we're right in the middle of it. In the next 6 years are the last final, not even 6 years, 5 years out of this last little part of the shift. The dark energy is going to be hanging on for dear life because it doesn't know anything else, and its survival depends on it. So you might feel a little bit more disheveled. You might feel a little bit more frazzled, or you might feel like you're in Mercury retrograde by 3 every single day. But hold strong and don't worry about the picture you see with your eyes. Know in your heart that all of this change, this humanitarian change from the creator of the universe through me to you has arrived, and it is now time to heal the world. Thank you.